Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 2020 My Team career mode for the Japanese Grand Prix today, or shall I say konnichiwa, Nihon e yokoso. Hello, welcome to Japan for this round of my Formula 1 My Team career mode. So here are the championship standings as things are at the moment. Pretty much only the top four are mathematically in the fight now. And Ricciardo's not had a good run of luck recently with mechanical failures, brain failures, and just a poor run of form for the team. Red Bull just haven't kept up with the R&D race. They were really good at the start of the season, but yeah, just the R&D for them hasn't been good. But anyway, for us now, we are working on a rear downforce upgrade, and we're going to balance that out with a front, and we're going to try to rush it and see how that goes, see if we can get it on the car for the US Grand Prix. We move on to the end of qualifying, and we through Q1, no real issues there, but interestingly there's a few that you would not expect knocked out in the first round of qualifying. Round 2, much the same, with Charles Leclerc knocked out, and Valtteri Bottas only just scraping through down in 10th position. Same with Daniel Ricciardo. So our two title rivals, 9th and 10th in Q2, is not good signs for them. But anyway, we move on into Q3 now, and this is the best lap that we managed in Q3, and you can see down on the Delta at the start we've had a bit of a messy start to the lap. Suzuka's never been a circuit I particularly click with too well. I do enjoy driving around it, but I've never been too smooth through the S's at the start of the lap. But we'll improve on that throughout the race, and you can see we are improving now on our initial lap time, despite struggling in the first portion of the lap. So as we continue on nicely through the hairpin, and now we head down towards the spoon curve for the final time in qualifying. We're down in P7 at the moment, so we do need to improve as we go a little bit wide through spoon, missing the apexes there, but we're still managing to keep up the momentum pretty well. And now onto the back straight, heading towards 130R, the famous corner on this circuit over the bridge. Round 130R, flat through there, easy flat. Now into the Casio triangle to end the lap. Trying to get the apexes, missing both of them just slightly. We can use those curves a bit more than that, but we get the DRS open towards the line. Where are we going to qualify for the Japanese Grand Prix? It is going to be P2 for us. Very decent, very decent.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Grosjean, the scientist, and Max Verstappen. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
And it's a 1-2 for the team, so that is fantastic news, and we can focus on a good race. Now, let's get into it.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Issa Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today in the Japanese Grand Prix? We're southwest of the city of Nagoya today at the unique figure-of-8 Suzuka circuit. 3.6 miles and 18 corners make up a lap here, with average speeds approaching 136 miles per hour. DRS will be available, of course, into the potential passing opportunity at turn 1, although the best place for overtaking will be through 130R and into the final chicane. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Let's talk about the scientist. There's a real chance they could win the title today. So how do you think they'll handle the pressure?
I think as long as they keep their mind on the task and not its historical significance, they'll be just fine. This is a race just like any other. You do the best you can and accept that sometimes things are going to happen outside of your control. If they can approach today with that attitude, the pressure shouldn't be a problem.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. The scientist lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Kvyat, Perez, Valtteri Bottas, and Ricciardo, Leclerc, Grosjean, Ocon, and Alexander Albon. Verstappen, Magnussen, George Russell and Latifi, Stroll, Norris, they've taken a grid penalty, Antonio Giovinazzi and Pierre Gasly, De Vries, Matsushita, Sainz and Guan Yu Zhou. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So here we are on the grid then for the Japanese Grand Prix. The strategy will be soft tyres to the hards. Didn't expect to use the white wall tyres this weekend, but Luigi will be very happy that we are, as we now get ready to go to the 5 red lights. Lights are on. And lights are out as we get underway for the Japanese Grand Prix, and it seems like a pretty decent start for us. We're going to hold the lead as we head down towards the first corner. Unfortunately, Romain Grosjean was hit with grid penalties, but for us, that's put us in a good position to take the lead as we head through the opening sector. And for now, we're just trying to keep it on the road and keep the car, all 4 tyres, on the grey stuff and off the green stuff. For the start of this race. I'm not too worried about the pace at the moment. That will come as we settle into a rhythm. So yeah, we're just trying to stay ahead of everyone at the moment, as they are always instantly up to speed. Unfortunately, I'm not a racing driver. I can't just do that and just switch on. But as we continue on then through the laps, onto lap 7 now, and we have a purple first sector, but we're under pressure from the cars behind as we get a bit on the grass and a huge slide through Spoon, and somehow we managed to save it with only losing 1 position to Lewis Hamilton, rather, not Valtteri Bottas, my apologies, but that is a huge moment. We just got caught up on the curb, and that was a nice apex there actually on the first part of Spoon, but yeah, we rejoined a little bit in front of, I think it's Sergio Perez there in the AlphaTauri, and look at the junk falling out the back of our car after that. All the dust off of that little strip there, just getting dumped onto the circuit. That will not be too helpful for Sergio Perez. He will not appreciate that. We go now down the inside of Lewis Hamilton into the Casio triangle, but Hamilton holds on. We get a switchback though, and we're going to try and get a nice launch out of the last corner. DRS open as we head towards the first in the slipstream of Lewis Hamilton. He defends. We go to the outside, side by side, as we head towards the first corner, and we'll just about get around the outside. Hamilton leaves us the room, and we're able to complete the move. Nicely done to not make any contacts between the two of us, and we're able to make that one work as Charles Leclerc retires from the race with a mechanical failure. Disaster for him, and he is plummeting down the order. That was very close with a few cars there on the apex of 130R. What are you doing, man? Why are you driving slowly on the apex? George Russell there in the Haas had things under control, but look at this on board from Verstappen. Whoa, that was close with the other Ferrari. So luckily the teammates did not tangle there, but yeah, Leclerc parking it on the apex there as we get on the grass on the exit of the Casio triangle, and that's going to give an opportunity to Lewis Hamilton as he sits in the slipstream, and he's hit the wall. Lewis Hamilton into the wall. What has happened there? Hamilton front wing off for the Mercedes as he lost control in the slipstream. That was an unusual incident there. Maybe he had something else wrong with the car. And further on in the lap, look at the train he's holding up as the virtual safety car is now out, so no one can overtake him, and that is well, very helpful for us. That's given us a huge lead, and I don't know what Hamilton was doing. He just drove into the wall there. Very strange one, but it's fine for us because we continue to lead by a significant margin in this race. This is the chaos unfolding behind though. Hamilton, after the virtual safety car restart, still holding up the field, as now Fiat and Perez fighting side by side, and the Russian trying to edge ahead of the AlphaTauri there. But I'm not exactly sure how that one played out. It looks like Perez was able to hold on. It's now as we continue on time for our pit stop, and we're going to go onto the hard compound tyres as we planned and complete the race on this compound. So where does that leave us after all the chaos so far? Only down in 9th position, so a decent track position here Meanwhile, Kevin Magnussen is also out of the race with a mechanical failure, so the Ferrari engine not performing well here in Japan, and that's the second Ferrari-powered car to retire from this race. Meanwhile, that actually causes a safety car as Valtteri Bottas, who was leading, comes in to make his one and only stop. He is going medium soft for his strategy. Romain Grosjean actually makes his second stop of the day. He's the only car on the 2 stop, so that really ruled Romain Grosjean's race. That strategy, everyone else is doing a 1 stop, softs to mediums or mediums to soft in the case of Bottas. We went softs to hards, which we probably didn't need to do. Mediums probably would have worked, but we weren't given that option. I didn't really think to check, so that's partly my fault for not looking at the options well enough. But yeah, that is no good. But now Bottas with the pace advantage tried to get around the outside of Degner 1. Didn't work out for him, but a huge slide for us on the exit of the second Degner. We go back up the inside of Bottas though into the hairpin, and we'll just about get through. Bottas with a switchback, contact made between the two of us, and now we're racing towards the spoon curve. We're going to have the outside line, we're going to try and pinch him to the apex, give him the tight line. We try and carry the speed around the outside, but Bottas holds on. But we will have the slipstream, and tyres do not affect straight line speed too much, so this is going to work out well for us. We don't even need the slipstream, we just power past the Mercedes with the ERS turned up to the max, and we get back ahead of Valtteri Bottas and put ourselves back up into the lead of this race. So nicely fought there to get us back into the leading position, but Bottas piling on the pressure, but not able to make a move just yet. So as we continue on, the battle just goes on and on for laps and laps. Bottas looking around, just can't find a way past as we continue on to the Degners. Bottas has a look to the inside there, but he's bottled it. He's off the road. Valtteri Bottas gone deep into Degner 1, and that is going to cost him a bunch of time and positions. Here's the replay. He was looking to the inside, backed out of it, but he couldn't get the car turned and went ploughing off into the sand and the gravel trap, and that is the end of Bottas' fight for the lead in this race. You can see here he got alongside and then backed out of it, and took a bit of evasive action, didn't want to hop over the curbs and the grass on the inside, and that cost him a lot of time. So that's unfortunate for Valtteri Bottas. Meanwhile, we are really now under pressure from Sergio Perez in the AlphaTauri. We're able to just about hold him off there through Spoon, and here comes Fiat on the inside, and they're going to go side by side through 130R, and we have a look back there to see how that battle plays out. And we have to go a little bit defensive there to make sure that we don't get overtaken by Danny Kvyat, who's made that overtake work. As we now exit the Casio Triangle, Kvyat takes the lead around the outside. Daniel Kvyat, he's looking for a bit of redemption from Russia. He was so close to a win there in second position. It was a great result, but now he is leading the Japanese Grand Prix. It's a couple of weeks too late, but it'll still be a great result for Daniel Kvyat. So let's see if he can hold on to this one and see how he plays this for the rest of the race. But Daniel Kvyat has taken the lead here. We're in second position, but we are not going to give this up too easily. You can see we're really pushing as we continue the fight. We're going a little bit wide there through 130R, but not close enough to make a move on Kvyat. A decent exit though, as we get a little bit on the grass, and that's going to ruin it as we get the DRS and turn up to the battery. It's just not quite enough, and we're not going to get close enough here on this lap. We continue on then, the very next lap. Nice and smooth through 130R that time, and now into the braking zone of the Casio Triangle, using all the road on the left there, and now trying to get a good launch out of the corner. Can we make a move this time on Daniel Kvyat? We have the DRS, and now we are in the slipstream. Let's see if we can do it right behind Daniel Kvyat, but no, we weren't close enough. And as we continue on, Kvyat drove away from us after that, and we just couldn't keep up the pace. So that was really unfortunate, and now we're under fire from Sergio Perez. So yeah, that's really unfortunate for us. But yeah, we'll keep him under pressure and see what we can do throughout the rest of this race. As you can see, still struggling a little bit through Spoon.
They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
Oh, Kvyat has an issue with his car now.
Second place. You're in second place. Kvyat is ahead of you. The gap to the car ahead is 2.4 seconds.
2.4 seconds to Daniel Kvyat, and he has an issue, so let's see how quickly we close that gap, and if there's any chance that we can make up the ground to Daniel Kvyat. I already feel like visually he's just slightly closer there through the chicane, so that may be a pretty critical issue for Daniel Kvyat if he's losing that much time already. So as we head through the first sector, we'll see what the time gain is like, as we are really pushing now, you can see, and we need to make no mistakes in this race if we want to catch up to Daniel Kvyat. He will be driving the wheels off to try and make the most of this and get the most out of the car, even if it's not in the best condition. It only takes us a lap to gain a few seconds to him, and now we are right on the back of the Russian as we have a little look. No, we're not going to go for a move. We have a look into the hairpin, but again, we don't go for it. We've got the pace advantage, so we can be a little bit patient here as we try to retake the lead of this one into the blinding sun there. Very difficult to see, but we are nowhere near Daniel Kvyat as we head towards Spoon. But the target here is to try and get a good exit onto the back straight and see what we can do there. So here we go in the slipstream of the Russian as we head towards 130R. Are we going to be able to make a move here? We have a look to the inside, slipstreaming here again because we're not close enough, but we run wide at 130R, and that's cost us a little bit of time. Now Perez is having a look down the inside into the Casio triangle, but we managed to hold him off there. So still maintaining second position for us for Sergio Perez, getting involved in the fight now as well as we continue on this fight with Daniel Kvyat. Still a few laps to go in this race as we head through turn one. Once again, very tight on the line there, and that's really compromised our exit out of the first corner. So now through the S's, we need to try and stick as close behind Daniel Kvyat as we can. This is where we seem to have the best pace advantage over him, especially through the Gekubank curve there. That was a lot of time gained, and through Dunlop the next corner as well. So as we have a look now down the inside into the Degner one, but we've done the Bottas and gone deep. Perez has got past us, and we're down into third position. We didn't quite go as far off as Bottas. We didn't make the gravel, but you can see there we just ran wider than what we really wanted to, and that cost us the time to Perez, who's now up into second position. We got the slipstream though along the back straight, down the inside into 130R side by side, and we get ahead of Sergio Perez. That was a borderline move, but we were aggressive and we had to get that done. So now ahead of Perez, we can chase after Daniel Kvyat once again as we get the DRS open, crucially for the final time here, as we now chasing Daniel Kvyat. A little gap that he's got, it might just be enough to save him, you know. Daniel Kvyat has made the most of myself and Perez fighting and gotten away as we get on the grass on the exit of turn one, and taking a few weird lines here, really trying to push, but it's actually costing us more time than what it was ever going to gain us. And those little mistakes there through the first sector have not helped us close the gap into the hairpin now, and we're not close enough to go for any kind of move. So if we do anything, it's going to be into the Casio triangle. So let's see how we can handle the rest of this lap. A lot of wheel spin out of the hairpin, really trying to push hard, but it's costing us. And now into the Spoon curve, trying to absolutely maximize the track and use everything that we have available to us. But we're just not gaining the time with Kvyat. We're pushing too hard, and it's actually slowing us down more than speeding us up. And Daniel Kvyat, I think, is going to hold on here as we have one last chance to throw the dice into the Casio triangle. We really drive the car in hard, two wheels on the grass on the left hand side, and that's really compromised our line. We had to cut the chicane really slow on the exit. Sergio Perez has got a good exit. He's going to get us. Sergio Perez takes second, and Daniel Kvyat wins.
Top job, my friend, top job. I was a bit worried about this one at the start of the weekend, but you've pulled through. Thank you.
And we only get third at the end of the day there.
They've done it then, here at Suzuka. A brilliant win on this beloved figure-of-8 circuit. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
Here come today's winning drivers, and what a race it was. This is a team that knows success very well in F1, and they're just itching for even more. Congratulations to the Renault team for their excellent win today.
So it's Daniel Kvyat who takes the win for Renault. Great drive from him today. Sergio Perez steals second position from us in the closing stages with that mistake, as we now finish in third position for the Japanese Grand Prix. After that exciting race, let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship. The scientist increases his lead at the top of the table. Now, Anthony Davidson, who would you pick as the driver of the day? I've got to give it to Carlos Sainz. He made so many overtakes today, it was very impressive. Now, let's take a look at the Teams' Championship. The owner drivers team continues to lead the way in the Constructors' Championship. Meanwhile, Renault have improved their position as they continue their charge up the table. Thank you to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one. Definitely wasn't copying Crofty there. Loosely copying. I can't remember exactly what he says. It's different every time. But anyway, yeah, I accidentally skipped that little cutscene as he goes through the overview, so I had to redo it to myself. Anyway, yeah, let's have a look at the highlights as we talk about this race. So it all started pretty well for us, and after Hamilton crashed and held up the field, I thought that was pretty much the race won, and I thought it would be quite a boring one, and it was for quite a while. We spent a lot of time not doing much, and then after that safety car we had to do a lot of defending from Valtteri Bottas, but honestly, before he made that mistake, he was always looking around. There's our first mistake. That was a nice slide and a nice save there. But yeah, before Bottas made that mistake, he wasn't really going for moves all that much. He was really fast, and definitely the faster car, but he was just sort of sitting behind for a lot of it, and not going for overtakes. So there wasn't actually a lot to show from that battle with Bottas, unfortunately, in terms of excitement. But yeah, anyway. Other than that though, still a very decent result for us. We beat our main championship rivals, Daniel Ricciardo. Didn't see him the whole race, unfortunately. Just a bad day for him. And Bottas obviously threw it away at the first Degner in that incident. So yeah, unfortunate for Bottas as well. But yeah, for us, we gained a lot of points. Daniel Kvyat, a great win for him. Sergio Perez, another podium, so he won't be at all disappointed with that. The win could have been on for him as well. And Kvyat driving through those mechanical issues and still keeping up a decent pace was what won him the race today, so well deserved by him for that. But yeah, as for our teammate, bad strategy for him. He was on a 2-stop, and that was never going to net him a good result, unfortunately. It was just never going to work. Everyone else was on a 1-stop. It barely worked for us. We were on the hard tyres, everyone else was on mediums, so we'll watch out for that one in the future and learn from that. But yeah, Grosjean, just really bad strategy on his side of the garage, and he I don't even know if he was in the points in the end. It doesn't really make a huge difference if it was a low end point or not, but yeah, no good for him, unfortunately, and that might be him out of the title fight.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. Another podium. You must be getting used to it up there.
I wouldn't say that, but yeah, more podiums are always welcome, for sure. It was very good.
Do you have any comments about the collisions?
Yeah, we had a few scrappy battles, but you know, we need to get the elbows out on occasion, and you know, contact is occasionally made.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Clear. So that brings the Japanese Grand Prix weekend to a close, and we get all the monies and all of that rolling in, the acclaim and all such. But yeah, as for the activity timeline, I pressed wrong buttons and filled it all up with random stuff. That is lovely. No, we want to pick these things carefully because they definitely make a big difference. So jokes aside, yeah, I don't honestly know how much difference these activities make, but anyway, we're going to do the race simulations for Romain Grosjean, make sure his stats are always as high as they can possibly be, but other than that, I'm not convinced these are that important. It'd be good if they had a little bit more weighting in the future. But anyway, we're doing the acclaim sort of event there. Yeah, the sponsor event promotion gets more acclaim. It's not going to make a huge difference at this point in the career mode. And yeah, well, neither would any of them. None of them would really, I don't think. But yeah, anyway. Other than that though, there is not a lot other than R&D to cover here. Can we afford anything? We can afford an upgrade to our power unit, so we will do that as we continue to skip forward. I'll be interested to see those downforce upgrades coming onto the car, and it looks like we might be in luck because there they are. Downforce upgrades on the car, both of them, even the one that we rushed, did not fail, and they'll be on the car for the US Grand Prix. So that's really good news for us as we head into that event. We will have considerably better 2 major upgrades, front and rear. That is huge for our aero department, especially at Circuit of the Americas. That first sector always been very, very tricky, so that will really help us absolutely fly through that sector of the circuit. Still the best car, and awesome to see that. We'll see the evolution soon, but other than that, there is not a lot left to cover in this one, so I will say thank you so much for watching to the end, and I will see you next time for the US Grand Prix. Goodbye.